I used to think I had to be confident and feel ready to begin something. But then I realized confidence actually often comes after we've flapped our way through the mess. Today's page is for those messy, brave beginnings and the birds in us that keep trying. Hello and welcome. My name is Katjana and this is day 18 of the July Junk Journal Challenge, hosted by the lovely Lee at Lee Creates. Every day, we follow a simple prompt and together we create a page in this accordion-style junk journal. I add layers, texture and stories, and along the way, I share a few reflections from my work as a psychotherapist and lifelong learner of our beautiful, complicated inner worlds. So far we have stitched, collaged, scribbled and remembered. Each page tells a different story, some tender, some raw, some still unfolding. And today, the prompt is bird. I am starting with something I have found in a German Daphne's diary magazine here in Hamburg. 2 postcards with delicate gold accents, the kind that feels so rich and old. I copied them onto coffee-dyed paper because there's something about that gentle brown staining that adds a kind of vintage memory to everything it touches. And starting with this new prompt, I remember something my clients often say when they start therapy. I'm not sure where and how to begin. And that makes me smile, because I'm telling myself, that's okay, birds don't begin with flight either. They begin with awkward hops, soft feathers, and uncertain first lifts into the air. And while I was rummaging through my mother's cupboards here in Germany, I found this tiny set of vintage rummy cards, and to my absolute delight, the back of the cards had birds on them. Not majestic eagle or soaring swans, just sweet little illustrated birds, perfectly sized for this pocket-sized journal. Something about finding them felt like one of those quiet affirmations from the universe. Not everything has to be earned with struggle. Some things are simply waiting to be discovered. And that's a reflection I often hold in therapy. Not all growth is dramatic. Sometimes it's just noticing what's already here. A pattern, a need, a memory that's finally ready to be met with kindness. Okay, let's get back to the page. I would like to use this paper to make a double pocket for the playing cards. But first, let's talk about that quote. You don't need to soar, just flap awkwardly in the right direction. It sounds playful and funny, but underneath there's deep truth. We live in a world that celebrates outcome, flight, visibility, success, but what about the courage it takes just to try? To try again after burnout, to reach out after rejection, to set boundaries that wobble. That to me is the heart of healing and growth. It's rarely a single glorious ascent, it's many tiny flaps, some shaky, some misdirected, but all still valid. So if you are flapping awkwardly through something right now, this page is for you. And now here is where we can gently zoom in, not just to the page, but to the part of us that's still learning how to try. There's so much pressure to already know things, to get it right the first time, to soar. But in truth, every beginning is a bit unsteady. Every bird starts somewhere, like many of them on the ground. And the mind, it's not built for perfection, it's built for protection. The human brain evolved not to make us brilliant or efficient, but to keep us alive. That means it pays close attention to what once hurt. It remembers the things we failed at, the moments we felt embarrassed, rejected, overlooked. It catalogues those experiences not to punish us, but to protect us from feeling that pain again. So sometimes when you freeze before starting something new, when you hesitate or talk yourself out of trying or feel that tug of self-doubt, it's not because you're lazy or broken. It's because your nervous system is still trying to protect you from a danger it once knew. And maybe it learned that silence was safer than speaking up, or that making a mistake meant punishment, or that joy made you vulnerable. But here's the quiet invitation of this page and of today. What if being a beginner isn't something to be ashamed of, but something to celebrate? The beginner's mind, as it is called in Zen tradition, is open, curious, willing to be surprised. It doesn't need to prove anything. It simply shows up with a willingness to learn, to fail, to grow. And failure, that's not the opposite of success, actually. It's the soil it grows in. So if there's a part of you that still holds back, still believe you have to be good before you even begin, can you notice it gently? Can you offer it a little kindness? It was just trying to keep you safe. But maybe today you can let it know, it's okay. I'm allowed to flap awkwardly. That's how we get stronger. Let's pause for a moment while I glue down the pockets. You don't need to sew. Let's sit with this for a moment. And if you like, ask yourself, where in your life are you asking yourself to be exceptional, to be graceful, to have it all together? Could you replace that demand with permission to flap, to fumble, to feel awkward, and still be worthy? Awkwardness is a sign of newness, and newness shows you are growing, even if it feels clumsy. And now that I see the rummy cards tucked into the pockets, I find they fit perfectly, almost like they were made for this. What I find beautiful about birds is they don't need maps. They navigate with instinct, memory, and the pull of something bigger. Wind, season, light, and maybe we can let this be a gentle reminder for us. We don't need to know our whole path either. Just the next moment, the next step that feels right. And as we finish this page together, I want to leave you with a few questions to gently carry with you. What's something in your life you are trying to get perfect when flapping would do just fine? What part of you is still learning to trust the air beneath your wings? And can you offer that part some tenderness today? You don't need to have it all figured out before you begin. Sometimes the courage is in the starting, wobbly, unsure, heart thumping, but starting anyway. Maybe you're building something new or mending something old. Maybe you're just trying to stay upright on a hard day. All of that counts. This journal isn't about getting it right, it's about being real. And in that spirit, let's honor the stumbles too, the torn edges, the gluey fingerprints, the uncertain brush strokes. Because those aren't signs of failure, they are signs that you showed up. That softness, awkwardness, and resilience can all live in the same breath. I hope today's page reminded you that your growth doesn't need to be graceful. It just needs to be yours. And if you enjoyed this video, I'd love if you left a comment with your reflection or even just an emoji that feels like your inner bird today. And of course, feel free to subscribe if you want to keep crafting through the inner world with me. Thank you for spending this time with me. Keep flapping. You're already doing more than enough.